So, welcome, Kenny. How you doing today?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Good.
A little sleepy, but...
Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm very excited to get into this show. I've got a few questions here to kind of warm you up and everything. Besides, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm good. Had a square meal last night.
Yeah, a little
Woke up
tired, I think.
early enough to make breakfast.
Okay,
So-
not bad, not bad. So, on your way here, what was the song that you listened to that kind of stuck out? Maybe you sung to?
I was listening to a little bit of Sean James on the way in,
Okay.
and my favorite song by him is called "Through the Valley."
Okay,
It's an acoustic thing.
gonna have to check it out. Interesting. Have you ever heard of the White Buffalo?
No.
I will have to send you one or two songs that I do like of him. He's very interesting character. He has his songs, his music. You can't really categorize it in any type of style. Almost, it's weird. He's all kind of like all over the place a little bit. So on that, also, if you could have any superpower in the world, what would it be?
So I actually think that I'm going to change it from the last time that we had talked about it.
Yes.
So I wouldn't necessarily have a superpower.
Okay.
I'd be in the same prospect as Bruce Wayne, where he has an unlimited amount of resources and a high level of intellect.
Okay. Bruce Wayne. What about Iron Man? Because he's kind of like in the same
Yeah,
spot
that's true.
there.
That's true. That's
I mean,
very
they're
true.
kind of like neck and neck. I would have to say, both billionaires, wealth of money, knowledge, all that stuff. So it's very interesting. Very tragic stories, both of them. Yeah, their backstories. So, what would be one of the last movies that you watched
I actually was watching Avatar this morning.
this morning? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I woke up early enough for that.
Really? Man, you really didn't sleep at all, did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Good, man. And a current book that you're reading, as you could see from my one podcast, I had Josh over here, and he told me about The Alchemist, and he
One of my favorites.
actually let me borrow that. So that's something I'm going to have to get into and dive into it and kind of see how it's going. So,
Right now, I'm reading the 12 Rules of Life by Jordan Peterson. He's a clinical psychologist out of Canada.
yeah, I know Jordan
Very, very
Peterson.
interesting man.
I've seen him quite a few times on YouTube,
Okay.
and he was on Joe Rogan's podcast and Jocko Willink's podcast. And I think he has his own. I'm not sure if I subscribe to his newsletter or whatnot, but he's a very interesting character. Learning a lot from this guy. He's very, very smart. So on that note, while you're here, unfortunately, Ronnie couldn't make it, but he's the one that kind of wanted to set this up. So he said something about talking to you about space. So that's something I kind of want to know. How did that come up about, like space and everything?
Just going into conversation, and then that's a lot of our conversation in general. We talk about
the universe and everything else like that. So
a lot of trippy stuff.
So how does someone like get involved in space? Like what type of like research have you done, or have you done
I haven't
anything?
done any like particular research.
Okay.
I've kind of just gleaned off of like the little things that I've learned here and there as I've like gone
Interesting.
along. Like
Interesting.
Elon Musk is somebody who I follow a lot.
Okay.
He obviously talks all day and every day about
Sure.
like, getting out there.
He has SpaceX program, right? Okay, and shooting out to outer space and all that stuff, man. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. And I guess, man, space is just still unknown.
Yeah.
There's just so
It's
much-
infinite.
So much going on out there, and it's just crazy. Unfortunately, where we live, we don't really get a chance to see the actual sky in all its beauty and everything. When I lived out in Arizona and I was out in New Mexico, when there's no light around and all you see is all the stars, it is amazing.
Yeah. I got to experience the same thing when I went to Haiti. I went to Haiti for 3 weeks and helped out at like this orphanage. This was right after the earthquakes in 2012, 2011.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was the same thing. Night sky is dazzling in comparison to here.
Absolutely. So speaking about Haiti, what are some other places that you have traveled to, and any type of stories or a place or something that kind of stuck out with you that you would kind of like reflect on?
Aside, like, are we talking outside the U.S.?
Anywhere, U.S., outside the U.S.
Okay. I mean, I've been to Florida. I've been to most of the states on the East Coast.
Okay.
I went out to Oklahoma for a football camp
Okay.
when I was going into my senior year. Haven't made it out to the West Coast. Then obviously Pennsylvania, New York.
Yeah, all the local ones. I actually went up to Oregon.
Okay.
Coastal Oregon and everything. And a buddy of mine, which I forgot, that the actual Goonies was filmed out there, the beach and all that stuff.
I actually never knew that.
I did not know that until until my friend told me that. So I was like, man, I'm gonna have to look into that a little bit more. But the West Coast there in Oregon is really, really beautiful. A lot of huge rocks and everything on the beach. Something very breathtaking almost. And all the places that I've been to, that was one that kind of really stuck out.
What part of Oregon were you in?
Was it Eugene? Went to Eugene, and then we ended up going to Bend, Oregon, and then the coastline right around there. I think one of the spots was called Devil's Churn or something.
Okay.
And it's like this, almost like this cavern, kind of like where the water washes up and everything. It's really interesting to see. I'll have to show you some pictures if I still have them on my phone. So, have you been besides Haiti anywhere outside of the United States?
The Bahamas,
And that's it?
but technically still a U.S. territory. Aside from that, no.
I guess so. Myself in general, I've been to Jamaica and I went to Canada. I went to Canada back in the day, and went to Niagara Falls. Did the whole tour and all that stuff. You know, with the ferry boat going by the falls. That was just a lot of fun. But unfortunately, the one trip that I really wanted to go to was Iceland.
Yes, I remember you mentioning that.
Yes. Unfortunately, due to COVID kind of shutting everything down at that time, wasn't able to make it out there. And I really wanted to go and see the Northern Lights. That's what I keep hearing.
I have that as a goal as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I heard that's really good there, and it's just like the culture and everything else like that. Just kind of like immersing yourself and kind of like getting to know other people. I was also big when I was growing up. I was into Vikings as well as like the shows now. They have them on Netflix and everything else like that because they are very explorative, pretty much. There's even talks of Vikings actually discovering the United States before everything else. I don't know how true that is, but again, like I said, it kind of makes a little bit of sense in I guess, in my book or my mind or whatever. These guys are definitely, exploring and everything else like that. So that really had me fascinating with these guys. So is there any place like a dream vacation you would like to go to?
There's a couple places that I have on my bucket list.
Okay.
There's a couple places in Europe. Like I wanted to visit Ireland.
Okay.
I wanted to visit Japan.
Yes.
Most of the places that I wanted to go to, I have some type of heritage roots to.
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, definitely Japan is on my list because that's like huge. I'm a huge samurai fan as well. Was it The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise, as well as I think it was something Ronin with Keanu Reeves.
47 Ronin.
I think so. I think so. It might be that. And I'm just interested in the whole culture and everything else like that, as well as Bora Bora or Fiji. yeah, that's kind of like a really high end. I'm not sure if I'll ever make it there, and somehow I become rich and famous. Not really, but
I think that there's a resort in Bora Bora where they have the entire resort side is underwater, so all the rooms are underwater.
Wow.
And yeah.
I'm gonna have to check.
I mean, obviously, really expensive to be there, but nonetheless.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I've seen like the water bungalows, and I really saw them, and I think it was a few movies. I think Couples Retreat. It actually showed that. Yeah, that was a funny movie and everything. So, what would be your next trip?
My next trip, I'm actually heading to Florida in November.
Okay, awesome.
Well, first we're gonna make a stop in Tennessee,
Okay.
and then visit Universal because I mean anybody that knows me knows I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, and I haven't been able to go to the Harry Potter world yet.
Absolutely, and we did speak about this before, and you mentioned to me, was it the Deadly Hallows?
Yes.
On Halloween, they make an appearance, right?
Oh,
They take over
yeah.
Harry Potter
So
world.
there's like the villain side of the whole story, and they're a clan known as the Death Eaters, and
There you
apparently
go.
they take over
That's
the town.
Absolutely.
Around that time.
Now, myself, I've been there before, and when I got there, it was just amazing. Just an experience alone. I wasn't like really a huge Harry Potter fan growing up or whatever. Watched the movies here and there. I thought it was very interesting, and I really liked it a lot. But when I went there, and I went to the wand shop. There's a wand shop in there, and there was a lady there, and you would just point at each wand, and she would tell you the name of the wand,
Okay.
like out of memory.
Okay.
She would tell you the name of the wand, where it was seen, and who used it, so on and so forth.
Okay.
Like it was just
Okay.
like she had a huge stack of them, and it was just really crazy. I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh, what's this one? What's that one? Oh, that one looks cool and all that stuff. And she's just like, oh, that one is this and the name and all that stuff. And I couldn't tell you any of the names anyway. But definitely those movies were good. And you read the books, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, how different is the books compared to movies?
I'd say that the biggest difference is that the books can incorporate a lot more detail
Absolutely.
for
Yes.
obvious reasons.
Absolutely, and I believe that's in any type of book converted to movie, because you could only cram in so much in like an hour and a half or 2 hour movie or so on and so forth, to where all the detail and everything does come from the book and imagination as well, which is I think is really cool. That's why I kind of like, I'm interested in books because of that imagination. Almost it kind of brings me back a little bit as a kid, and you can kind of like envision people and your own kind of way and light, but when at the same time someone puts it into a movie perspective, that's just their vision of it, you know, of the person or whatnot. So people are really talking about this Batman, the new Batman and all this stuff.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Have you seen it yet?
I have not gotten to see it.
Okay.
Recently I was watching The Dark Knight on Netflix. It's such a good movie. I do like the Batman franchise, especially all the way back in the day when the first one with Michael Keaton and everything, and Jack Nicholson as the Joker. Yeah, those are classics. You can't really beat them. But is there any type of movie that has kind of like stuck out with you, that kind of like made an impression on you, to where you can go back and watch over and over again? For me, Fight Club.
Okay.
I could watch Fight Club almost every day and get something new out of it, or a new perspective and everything else like that. And have you seen Fight Club?
I have.
Oh, okay, that's what I figured. So, what do you got? You got anything? Anything you can think of?
Off the top of my head, most of the time when I'm sitting at my apartment, I'm sitting there watching Harry Potter. Being honest.
Okay, interesting. And so you're all about Harry Potter. There is a Harry Potter game, or a Harry Potter world game coming.
Oh
out
yeah,
soon.
yeah. It's supposed
Something
to
like
come
that.
out, I think, at the end of this year, or next year, something like that.
It'd be very interesting. Man. So, well, awesome, man. And I'm really excited to have you here. I do appreciate everything you have done in helping me prepare for this, because at the times we would interact, I was prepping myself by asking you questions and stuff like that. If you couldn't tell already, you know, the whole superpower thing and all that stuff, and you know, traveling and vacation and all that stuff. Yeah, man, I really do wish Ronnie was here. You know, he just adds so much more into this. So shout out to Ronnie. And that's pretty much it, man. So thank you very much for coming today, and you know, hopefully I'd have you on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.